So today is potentially the biggest day in my life. Almost 3 years ago, my wife Lynn and I set off on the journey to try to become parents. And today we find out whether or not it was a success. The nurse will be calling us with the results of the pregnancy test. Here we go. Nope. No, my friends. It did not go that easily. Pretty much just like everything else with our attempts at getting pregnant over the last 3 years, the call from the clinic revealing whether or not my wife was pregnant, surprise, did not go as planned. And we will get to that very shortly. But before we do, I want to welcome everybody to the Dad Diary. The crowd is just losing their minds right now. Everybody, you in the back. Anyway, welcome to the party. It's a fun party. There are some laughs. There are some smiles. There are some tears, mostly from me. And I have a feeling that when they come from me, you probably tear up as well. But that just means it matters. Anyway, this whole series is all about the process of becoming pregnant, dealing with fertility issues, specifically in our case, male fertility issues on my side. Once you discover that there are fertility issues, exploring treatment options, and then moving forward from there. In our case, we decided to move forward with IVF. If you want to learn all about our process and what we've been through so far up until this point, please go back and watch previous episodes. I will put a link up here above my head for you to go and click it. But after you watch it, make sure you come back and watch this one. Speaking of this one, this episode, Chapter 4 of the Dad Diary, is all about the call. The big call when the clinic dials you up and lets you know whether or not you are pregnant. In our case, we had a plan, and it did not go according to that plan. The plan was for us to be together. We were going to call the clinic, or they were going to call us at a specific time, so that way we could be with one another. This is a very emotional process. We resisted the urge to take an at-home pregnancy test because we didn't want to get our hopes up. If we got a false positive, we didn't want to get disappointed. If we got a false negative, so we waited it out. And when my wife was going to get home from work, we were going to get called together, but that's not how it went down. Here's how it went down. I just found out that I'm gonna be a dad. Oh my gosh. My wife does not know yet. The doctor's office called me first. So now I've got about an hour to put together a surprise for her. So that way she doesn't have to hear it over the phone. She can actually hear it from me, which is incredible. I mean, our journey has been long, almost 3 years since we first started trying, and we just did our first round of in vitro and it worked. Best day of my life. I can't wait to meet you, little one. Yep, the nurse called me first, and as you could tell, I was overwhelmed with emotion. I was excited. I was full of every happy feeling you could ever be full of. But I was also kind of conflicted because my wife and I had this plan, and I felt so bad that I found out before her because, I mean, historically, the wife is the one who knows. She is suspicious. She, does the old at-home pregnancy test and then surprises the dude, or just wraps it up, or whatever it might be, or puts it on his bedside table. You've all seen that YouTube video. Anyway, in this case, I found out first. So I'm excited, I'm thrilled, but I also know that my wife is on her way home, and I want to surprise her with something really cool, something really unique. Now, before I go any further and show you how I revealed to my wife that we were pregnant, there is something that I do feel that I need to address. It's something that has been brought to my attention by some individuals on some various pregnancy apps, some chat boards, specifically some threads that address IVF, fertility treatment, and that is that not all couples are successful their first time around. My wife and I were so fortunate that our first attempt, our first round of IVF was a success, because according to the CDC and a study that was done in 2014 and the results were released in 2015, approximately 29.3% of fresh transfer IVF cases result in pregnancy. Now that doesn't even guarantee that those pregnancies are going to be carried full term and result in a live birth. Of those 29.3%, a little bit over 80% result in a live birth. So I think it's very important to stress that going into this process, as I mentioned in previous videos, I was nervous because I knew that this wasn't a for sure thing. Now, we were very fortunate. There are so many couples out there, and you may be one of them, who have not been successful in their first round or their second round, maybe third round or more. And it's not a cheap experience. And beyond the money aspect, it's emotionally, physically draining for the couple and especially for the female partner. So I want to take a moment to send my love to you and my support to you. If you are struggling, if it has not worked out the way that you hoped and the way that you planned, I encourage you to stay strong. I encourage you to talk about it. Really, I want to emphasize, and I mentioned this on these chat boards, that this isn't just a vlog series that's all about the happy aspects of infertility and getting pregnant and IVF and it just miraculously works out. No, this gets into the nitty-gritty of the process. And I just want you to know that my heart is with you. And if you want to talk, I encourage you to talk. You can find me on social media, send me private messages. My wife and I would be happy to speak with you. And if you don't want to because you don't know us, find a friend, find a medical professional, find a family member that you do feel comfortable with, and just talk to them. I know that for us, throughout our process, 3 years of trying to get pregnant, I wish I would have started talking to people sooner, because that was such a healing process for me. And this series in and of itself is becoming a healing process for us as we just go through everything that we've gone through. So the moral of the story is, I just want to open up communication. And that's my objective with this series. So I encourage you to do the same thing, to just talk and just find out what you're feeling. And if you are currently going through IVF treatment, or you are considering IVF treatment, or you're just curious about the process in general, I'm going to post some links in the comments section down below so you can check out this CDC study. As always, I put links to various fertility nonprofit organizations, the National Infertility Awareness Association. They've got some great resources there for you that have helped us a lot. And speaking of us, it is time to get to the reveal. I'm a creative person. I don't like to do normal run-of-the-mill type stuff. So I wanted it to be something very, very special, something that was us, that spoke to us not only as individuals, but as a couple. And considering the fact that I only had about 20 minutes to come up with an idea, put this idea into action, and then have it ready for when my wife got home, I think I did a pretty good job. Let's roll the tape again. Okay, so I have a plan for how I'm going to reveal this massive news to my wife. We are both huge musical theater fans and huge Broadway fans and huge fans of the work of Lin-Manuel Miranda. Recently, I was in New York for work. I was at Broadway Con, and Lin-Manuel has T. Rico, which is his foundation, which is doing incredible things around the world. And one of the things they had for sale there was this journal that on the front of it has this quote from Lin that has always resonated with me ever since I first heard it. And I know it does the same for my wife, which is every day has the potential to be the greatest day of your life. No day more fitting than today to be labeled as the greatest day of our lives as we find out that we are going to become parents. So I'm going to give this to my wife. I'm going to write a little note in it. I'm also going to put in there the results that came from the fertility clinic, letting us know that she is in fact pregnant. So that's going to go inside this little journal, and I'm going to capture the whole thing. Actually, I've got let's see if I can flip this. No, it's not gonna let me flip it. Awesome. So over there, I've got camera set up. I'm just trying to make it look like I'm casually, working on my gear here, but one of those cameras will actually be filming the whole thing. So I'm gonna crack open this journal, write my little thing in it, and you guys will get to see what happens when she opens it up. So here we go. The journal is wrapped. My wife is on her way home right now from work. There's so many emotions that I'm feeling right now, and I'm thrilled, I'm amped, I'm jacked, I'm excited. The universe, the world, God, whatever you believe in, works in such incredible ways. Like today would have been my grandfather's 95th birthday, and he was my best friend growing up, and the reason that I have this anchor tattoo, it's just so wild. There are no words. This year has been really rough so far, and this, it doesn't take away the pain or the loss that we've experienced, but I'm just so grateful that in the midst of all this sort of like chaos and trauma that we've been through, that we have this incredible gift that we've been given, and I can't wait to be a dad and raise an incredible, loving, caring, thoughtful, driven, inspiring individual in this world, and I can't wait to meet you, and I'm gonna love you so much. I already do. Anyway, Lynn's gonna be home soon, so we gotta get ready for this. Now I wait for my wife to get home. I am nervous. I am nervous. I am nervous. Like, this is so beyond even when I proposed to her. This is just a new level of just nerves and anxiousness and just so much going on. It's just every sort of thing that could send your heart rate through the roof and cause your mouth to dry out. That's what I was feeling at that point in time. But she came home, and after greeting our dogs, I was able to summon her over to the couch and present her with this gift. Remember I said I saved something for you.
Oh, you did save something, yeah.
So I'll give it to you before, no matter what.
Okay. What's this?
It's your results. Your test for this week. You're gonna be parents.
Oh, I love you so much. You're a brat.
Why am I brat?
Because you didn't wait for me.
No, you can't blame me, you have to blame Bahar. She called me and she goes, I was thinking that you might want to go get some flowers. And I was like, why? And she goes, because it's good news. I said, oh my gosh. I said, I'm so thrown off right now because like we had a plan and this was not the plan, and I'm so excited, but I know Lynn and I planned on being together.
It's not very often that the husband gets to tell the wife.
I know. I was so like confused. Like I didn't know how to like feel in the last 30 minutes. Like the maintenance guy was here working on the pipe, and I told him to leave. I was like, you have to finish later because I gotta tell my wife something. You did it. She said you're still not allowed to lift up the dog. Oh my gosh. It has been so cool going back and watching that footage as I've been putting this episode together. Every single time I sort of go through it and finagle the pieces around, I tear up. Big surprise there. My wife can't even come in the room where I'm editing because she starts tearing up, so I'm always wearing headphones so she can't hear what's going on. But that moment was the most powerful moment of our lives. Hands down. You don't even have to think about anything else. Like, you just know. And anyone else out there who's gotten pregnant traditionally or through fertility services or even adopted, it's your world changes in that moment. you are so happy. You cry because you're happy. You cry because you know and remember everything that you've gone through to get to that point, and you're so grateful. But you're also cautiously optimistic, because even though the IVF treatment has been successful, as we discussed earlier, it's not 100% chance that you are going to carry that baby full term and have a live birth. And that's what we'll get to in chapter 5 of the Dad Diary. For right now, I just want to continue to bask in the joy of the fact that our first round of IVF was a success, because that is something to be so incredibly grateful for. And if you've gone through it, you know. So we're gonna just let that rest for this week, and next week we will come back with chapter 5, where we will discuss what happens. What do you do now that this fetus has attached? What do you do? There are so many things that we have to do. We have to tell our parents, because everybody knows what we've been going through with IVF. We have close friends who have been huge parts of our journey. Not to mention, there's a lot more doctor visits, there's additional testing, there's more medications, there's just more of everything. We will cover all of that on the next episode of the Dad Diary. As always, thank you so much for taking the time to watch. If you like what you've seen here, please give it a thumbs up. Post a little comment below, or post a big comment, I don't care, whatever you're into. Subscribe to my channel. There's a lot more videos coming your way very, very soon. I love you guys. I'm grateful for each and every one of you who have taken the time out of your lives to watch these videos. Until next time, as we do it every single week on the Dad Diary, with peace and love. Vibrato.